Next question is, let me see. From Ki Lai Chuan. After watching the video excerpt on consistency in your practice too, Chuan Kwan Sifu, I just watched this video. What do you mean by doing practice mechanically? And do we need to contemplate and reflect while sitting on or focus on breath or chant Buddha's name? So when we say that sometimes we may be practicing mechanically, it means that we're just going through the motion. Yeah, all the different practices, it is meant to do with awareness, meant to do it, meant to. Oh wait, we have we have someone joining us. Introduce yourself.
Shifu, I'm Wei Ching, your student from the SBYM.
Welcome, welcome. Okay, so good to have you join us. Okay, I'm going to just answer the question. So when we say practice mechanically, sometimes we do it without that clear awareness. We're just going through the motion. Even down to when we are doing prostration, yeah, do we prostrate with the thought of respect or veneration? And because prostration is meant to be an expression of respect, right? Do we pay respect, or do we just do prostration? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So including if let's say you do chanting, yeah, let's say you do chanting and you're making the sound, Amitofo, 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 and you're moving the beats, yeah, but your mind is not on the Buddha's name, yeah, you're not keeping the Buddha in your mind. So it boils down to whether your mind is doing it. If your mind is not doing it, that means it's just going through it mechanically. Yeah. The second part of the question, and do we need to contemplate and reflect while sitting? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Depends on the state of your practice. If we are talking about because there are so many different practices, right? Yeah. So that if we are doing meditation, at some point we need to do sitting. Yeah. At some point we do need to do sitting. Sitting is helpful for developing samatha, practicing samatha, developing concentration. Yeah. Here he asks about contemplation. At some point we need to do contemplation also. Yeah, at some point we do need to do that. If we only do mindfulness of the breath, most of the time when we do mindfulness of the breath, it is actually done similar to samatha. Yeah, because if you look at because mindfulness itself, the initial part of mindfulness is a precursor to concentration. Yeah, it's just awareness of it. Yeah, just awareness of it. At some point, there has to be the contemplation on the breath itself, on the quality, the nature of the breath. Then that can lead to the awareness or the seeing that it is impermanent. Not simply being thinking, oh, it's impermanent. Yeah, so contemplation has to come in at some point. Yeah, that will be the in Chinese Mahayana we consider. In fact, in Tibetan tradition, it's also considered part of vipassana. But in the Theravadan tradition, they consider only direct seeing, which is the final part, as vipassana. But if you go to the Theravadan tradition to practice, I think most of them all say that they practice vipassana. Yeah. But if you were to learn from the various traditions, you know that actually what they call vipassana also covers a whole range. Yeah. Like for example, in Mahasi, the initial part labeling, the labeling there is actually more like just a precursor tool for developing mindfulness and awareness. Only at the later part there's discernment. In Palo tradition, they directly tell you, they teach you samatha first. If you don't have the jhanas, they don't teach you vipassana. Then in the Goenka tradition, awareness of the sensation. The initial part, just awareness, is also more samatha than vipassana, but they all call everything called vipassana. Yeah, to me it's okay lah. It's the key thing is whether the technique really leads to vipassana. So or focus on breath or chant Buddha's name. Yeah, so focusing on the breath is more, if you just focus on the breath, that itself is samatha. But if you focus on the breath and then examine the breath, the examination itself leads to vipassana. Chant Buddha's name initially is also samatha. Then later on can become vipassana also. Yeah. My teacher explained this in detail. In brief, it is that initially is 持名念佛. So 持名念佛 is 有相. Then after that, 观想念佛. So you 观佛的32相, 80随好. So you contemplate on the Buddha's the features, yeah, but not contemplate to be attached to it. Yeah, that means in other words, you are actually contemplating on the virtues, the merits of the Buddha. Then from contemplating that, you contemplate on how there is that they are dependent arising and empty in nature also. That the Buddha practiced the paramitas, then leading out to that. And if you contemplate in this way, then this leads to 无相念佛, because you are contemplating towards 空义, towards emptiness. Yeah. And then if you contemplate in this way, then that is 无相念佛. Yeah. So from 有相 to 无相. Yeah. But try to do the 有相 first. Yeah. Try to do the 有相 first. So did you all do chanting yesterday? Huh? You all tried chanting yesterday? How many of you tried chanting yesterday? Some of you didn't. You all have daily backlog of exercises. Then do one more day. So when we there are different ways to do chanting. One way of doing chanting is you just allocate a certain time and you chant, or you allocate how many rounds and you chant. Another way is whenever you encounter something unpleasant, you chant. Yeah, in your mind. Yeah, or if the environment is suitable, you chant out loud. Or you encounter something pleasant, then you chant. Yeah. Or maybe neither pleasant or unpleasant, you chant. That means whole day you're chanting. Yeah. Or maybe you encounter someone, a human being, you chant. You encounter a cockroach, you also chant. You encounter an ant, you also chant. You encounter some sentient being, you chant. You can try doing this. Yeah. You can go and observe yourself. remember the exercise about equanimity, where when you encounter not the recent one, the earlier one, you go and check, do you give attention to everybody equally? Yeah, we don't give everybody equal attention. Yeah, we only give some people, we give some people more attention than other people. Most people, we don't give much attention. Yeah, we give two categories of people attention: those we like and those we don't like. The rest, we don't give much attention. So you can practice equanimity by whenever you see anybody, you recite Buddha's name. Yeah, then remind you of sort of a very direct way to link your encounter with people with the Dharma. Yeah, can try. No? Okay. 愿消三障诸烦恼，
愿消三障诸烦恼，
愿得智慧真明了，
愿得智慧真明了，
不愿罪障悉消除，
不愿罪障悉消除，
世世常行菩萨道。
世世常行菩萨道。
阿弥陀佛。
阿弥陀佛。